in today's video, we're gonna go through with you guys a bunch of different trail riding procedures and rules of thumb when it comes to things we should be doing out on the trails or things we shouldn't be doing out on the trails. And remember guys, before even hitting the trail, make sure all of your equipment is in proper working order, including your tires being in good condition and rated for the trails you're about to hit. And if they're not and need to be replaced, make sure and head on over to our website for a new set from TrailBuiltOffroad.com. All right guys, so first things first, communication and radios. There's nothing more frustrating than not being able to talk to your group while you're out on the trail, or even on your way to the trailhead. Being able to let everybody know what's going on is crucial to having a smooth sailing day. And even if it's not a smooth sailing day, you can still call out on the radios and at least let everybody know what's going on. And another important do out on the trail is to tread lightly. Avoid the mud, avoid going off trail unless it's absolutely necessary. For example, if you need to let other drivers come through, you can pull off the trail slightly. Just don't go creating a whole new trail around in the woods just to let some people pass through. Also, make sure and bring spill kits with and absorbent mats and oil dry socks to absorb and clean up after any coolant or oil leaks. Most of these kits can be purchased on Amazon in reusable plastic buckets for about 35 to 40 bucks, so then you have a place to dispose of those oil-soaked absorbents. And then before hitting the trail or while at the trailhead, make sure and have a driver's meeting to communicate what exactly the plan is for that trail ride or for the day. Where you're gonna be throughout the day, where you're gonna end up at the end of the day, and then if anybody does get disconnected from the group, at least you all know where everybody is going to be or where you're gonna end up at the end of the day. Nobody should get left behind without some sort of a plan. But if anybody does get accidentally left behind or disconnected from the group, always make sure they are accounted for as soon as possible to make sure that everybody is okay or not lost or not broke down or even worse, hurt or injured. Also, don't hit the trails without the proper recovery equipment and proper tow points. Can't stress this one enough. I've seen it so many times where people go out on the trail and they don't have the proper tow points and they're stuck in a pretty bad situation. Then you're wrapping straps around axles and it does not make for a fun situation, or the equipment that you're using isn't rated to the weight of the vehicles you're trying to pull out. You always got to remember that if something heavy gets stuck in the mud, it amplifies or multiplies that much more weight that you're trying to pull out of the mud. So make sure that you have the proper tow points, proper equipment to pull as much weight out as possible, and it'll make the day a lot safer. Now this next one might sound minimal or minuscule or not very important, but it actually is very important, is to make sure you guys are running with your headlights on while you're out on the trail. Even if it's the middle of the day, if you do get dust or windstorm kicked up, or you're getting into a forest where there's not a lot of sun coming through the trees, it's important to be able to see those oncoming vehicles. Remember, it's not so much for you guys to see where you're going, it's for others to have visibility on you. Make sure to have the headlights on and not your bright ass light bars, because then you just end up blinding everybody either coming at you or the guy in front of you. So make sure and have your headlights on for more visibility from others. And another one, something that we touched on briefly before, is when you park to get out to take pictures or fly your drone or whatever it is that it may be, take some lunch throughout the middle of the day, it's very important to make sure you're always parking off the side of the trail as much as possible. Even if there's nobody coming, or if you don't think there's another group coming or anybody else coming, you still want to pull over as far as possible off the side of the trail to make room for anybody that may be coming through, even if you don't think there is. This way, it at least allows some additional room and people don't have to fight with each other to try to get around your vehicle. And speaking of moving out of the way, rule of thumb is when you're on a trail, let's say it's kind of a tight trail and you know there's going to be more people coming at you, more groups coming at you, whatever it may be, the rule of thumb is the bigger vehicles always have the right of way. Reason being is because the smaller vehicles, it's much easier for them to pull off the side of the trail than it is for the bigger vehicle. So when you have a group coming towards you, if they have either more people or bigger vehicles in their group, make sure and pull off to the side of the road first. Now, if your group has the bigger vehicles or more people, obviously you have the right of way. It's also important for the first person in that group to call out on their radio to let everybody else in the group know what's coming down the trail. For example, this last weekend we were up in the upper Michigan and we had a few different vehicles in different situations coming at us, and in every situation I would always call out to our group and just let them know what types of vehicles were coming and how many of them were there. Because we did have a variation of size vehicles in our group, it was important for them to know what size the vehicles were that were coming so they can already start to prepare to pull over off the side of the trail if they needed to. Also, with that said, make sure and slow down for hills, for corners, or in any situation where there may be some sort of blind spots. If you're coming over a hill, slow down, move over. Same thing with coming up to a blind corner. Always slow down and move over just in case that vehicle coming at you may be going too fast, or maybe they're not using proper trail etiquette. So just slow down for blind corners and blind hills. But we want to hear back from you guys. What other things do you guys do while out on the trails, or other suggestions or recommendations for what not to do out on the trails? Make sure and let us know in the comments below. And besides that, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure and do us a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button and thumbs up to like the video. Other than that, guys, we definitely appreciate all of you for watching and all of your support. I'm Josh from TrailBuilt, and we'll see you guys out on the trails.